reveal the truth.
I'll be back.
It's alive!
Was an excellent day for an exorcism.
Hi, this is Joe, and this is the Filmjoe Podcast, where film talk happens.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, I'm Joe, your host, and I'm here with Carlos.
Carlos.
And welcome to the podcast where we talk about films, filmmakers, trends, the good, the bad, and the not so bad, all in the spirit and for the love of film. Welcome to season 2. Season 2. To kind of get the rust out. It's been a while, huh?
It has. This is the second time you try to record this.
Yeah,
so,
because you messed up the first time.
I said I had one line.
So, again, welcome to season 2, and we did a couple of tweaks and changes, and hopefully you all like it. So, first of all, we will be integrating a rating system and in a brief capsule review. Now, keep in mind, Carlos nor myself are film critics.
No, not even close.
Yeah, far from. But we love film. We love talking about film, and we have our opinions. True. And so that's what we'll be integrating into the new season. So also our rating system will be based on the theme of a film or films we're discussing. So, for example, in this episode, we're talking about
The Disaster.
Wow, I was thinking of putting special effects.
Nope.
You got
I'm a human soundboard, man. No need for one.
Screw the soundboard. So since we're doing disaster films, we're going to be rating this on a scale of 1 to 10 on the Richter scale. Okay?
Hell yeah.
So be warned, we will be giving out spoilers in this. So let's get ready. But first, it's time for news bits. So, let's get into some news.
Hey, it's been a while.
It has.
I'm guessing a lot has happened.
Actually, yes, it has. First on the list, we got Tom Cruise, who's talking about doing a sequel to pretty much, I would say, an underrated film that he's done. Wasn't well received critically. Didn't do well box office as compared to his other stuff. He wants to do a sequel to Days of Thunder.
What's that?
Wow, you even haven't heard?
Never even heard of it.
It's a NASCAR kind of film that he did back in a couple years after Top Gun. So he's talking about doing a sequel to it. So for everyone out there like Carlos here who's not seen it, you might want to check it out. It's not that bad.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard about it in the news, where I don't know what the race is called, but it's like the European equivalent of NASCAR, where they race like their Formula Ones and everything, kind of like the low center cars, right? Okay. And America entered that. I think it was the Le Mans something, right?
Okay.
Anyways, and America entered it for the first time, and all these European cars are like your typical like kind of like Formula Ones. America being the eagle soarer,
America.
Hell yeah. They entered their what was it? I think it was like a souped up Charger.
Oh my god.
So it stuck out like a sore thumb.
How much more American can you get than a Dodge Charger? Wow.
Yeah. So it was just funny to see like all like monsters next to these like lower
little tiny European cars. Wow.
Yeah. It was kind of funny to see.
Okay. Well, hopefully we might get a little bit more of that in Tom Cruise's next film. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, AFTRA, or the Screenwriters Guild of America. They're on strike.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, which pretty much might delay a lot of film production and television production. As you know, Stranger Things is being pushed off till next year. Yeah, I'm kind of giving up on that anyway. So
I mean, it's good, but I'm not like, oh my god, I have to have it now.
Well, that's the problem with Netflix and these kind of series that they, back in the day, at the end of a season, you had like, what was it, 8 months or 6 months before the next season.
Yeah.
That's an entire fucking year.
If you're lucky.
So what happens in that year, especially with the influx of so much stuff on streaming, you just forget about the show you just watched. By the time the next season comes out, you've lost interest. You don't have the heart on you used to for the, when you first watched it.
Yeah, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the last season of Game of Thrones took like a year and a half to make, right? It was a minute before it came out.
Yeah, and people fucking hated it. Anyways,
I liked it.
I liked it. You know what? To me, we'll get into that in another podcast, but I loved it. I thought it subverted expectation as far as Game of Thrones went. But yeah, so we're looking at some delays on a lot of projects.
That's fair.
Also in news, Alan Arkin, the beloved character actor and leading actor who was in Little Miss Sunshine, The Kaminsky Method, Going in Style, he just passed away.
Oh, what?
A legendary actor, amazing just screen presence. I mean, he would put in performances so awesome, especially later in his years, but with so little effort. It came so natural. He was just amazing. And if you ever get a chance to watch The Kaminsky Method on Netflix, with Michael Douglas, he steals every scene he was in. But yeah, sadly, we lost another great actor. Next up, we also have a sequel that's coming out next year for a very well-known film, Gladiator 2.
Wait, that's been a minute since the first Gladiator, right?
I think it was like 2000 or something. 2000s, early 2000s, 2000. Ridley Scott is coming back to direct.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to star, get this.
Oh, I get
Pedro Pascal.
Sold me.
Yes.
Yeah, you can stop right there, man. I'm sold.
Are you sure?
Oh.
Denzel Washington.
Yeah. Okay.
He's going to be in it. And I don't know if you remember the film very well, but remember he fell in love with this woman who he had an affair with, because his wife was murdered and yada, yada. He falls in love again and she gets pregnant.
Okay, so that's the baby.
So it's Maximus's son, Lucius.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be the center of this. And the same actress coming back, Connie Nelson. She played Lucia in the original. She'll be coming back. And unknown actor Paul Mescal will be playing Lucius. I've never heard of him. But it was interesting because this news hit really big. And you think people will, they will go to Ridley Scott and say, what's it going to be about? What's it going to be about? And I'm sure he gets those questions.
Yeah.
But also getting those questions is Russell Crowe. Yeah, but he's not going to be in it. In fact, he was recently quoted. He said, his exact quote, "I should fucking get paid for the amount of times I have been asked about this film, and I'm not even going to be in it." So apparently he might be a little annoyed at all the attention towards a movie that he's not
even in.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you say? We move along to the next segment.
I say that we move along. Well, in your plethora of time, what have you... Plethora. 3-syllable word, baby.
Wow.
What have you seen? What have you gazed
upon? Okay, well, I just recently rewatched Raiders of the Lost Ark. In its entirety, from beginning credits to end. I just can't say what a more perfect film this is.
Yeah.
I probably also in preparation.
Probably in anticipation for the new Indiana.
Yeah. It's getting mixed reviews. A lot of people saying it's great. Some people saying it's okay. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go see it for myself.
Especially because you're looking at Harrison Ford now and you're like, yeah, dude, you're up there, dude.
Well, they say he still pulls it off.
I don't know. I don't doubt it. The man is Harrison Ford.
He's Harrison Ford. And so I'm excited to go see that. So in preparation, I rewatched it recently. And again, you talk about you can't get a more perfect action film, an adventure film.
Mystical as well.
Yeah, and mystical and all these elements. And you got some stuff in there that you go, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, with any movie, no movie is like 100% perfect.
But what makes this movie perfect or damn close to it is its overall tone, its execution of the mythology of the plot line and the characters and the delivery of the dialogue. It's just a fantastic film, and I could watch this over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I've recently watched. I mean, I've watched a couple of shows, but what about yourself?
Okay, so I went to go watch a couple movies in our, hiatus.
Okay. Oh, by the way, everybody, I did have to pause because Carlos fucking forgot what movie he saw.
Okay, it's been like 3 weeks, man. It's been a minute. So I had to fucking look it up.
I had to push the pause button, but go ahead.
Yes, and I'll admit to it, man.
It must have been not that great, but...
Okay, well, here's the thing. I went to go watch Transformers, Rise of the Beast.
Okay.
That one was Rise of the Beasts? Rise of something.
Rise, I think the Beast.
Or, something like that.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a surprising little post-credit scene.
Oh, nice.
May I say? Anybody who doesn't want to hear, skip ahead by
I don't know. I think it's a little too soon.
Too soon?
Fuck it. Go ahead.
Okay. Anybody who doesn't want to hear, skip ahead like a minute or two. So in the post-credit scene, it has the character, I don't remember his name, right? But they're talking to him and they're like, hey, we want to get a debrief on everything that happened. And he's ex-military, so he kind of knows like what the hell to say and what to talk about, right? And they're saying, well, we're a government agency and we're very interested in this report. And I'm like, oh, okay, so like it's some Transformer shit, you know. I don't remember what they're called for Transformers, but it has like a special unit, right?
Okay.
And then they give him a card. And I'm like, what the fuck? No. And it says G.I. Joe.
Oh.
And I was like, no. Because they're both owned by Hasbro. There you go. So I was like, damn, look at them making power moves, man.
Wow. So they're gonna do a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover.
Yeah, crossover. I mean, if it goes well, I don't know if they'll commit to it if the movie isn't doing so great, though.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I have not seen the last two or three Transformer films.
Well, they rebooted the entire universe, so it doesn't
okay.
really matter.
But, you know, G.I. Joe really doesn't have any real central characters that you can, you know, I don't know if it'll work. But
it has Cobra Commander.
Okay, so it might work. Okay, what else did you see?
And The Flash, which, God, the CGI on that was just horrendous.
I heard it looked rushed.
Yeah.
Like it was just rushed through to get it out.
Yeah, it was just, the story was, you know, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest thing ever.
Well, I think...
And I also saw Spider-Man. Oh, that one was good, man.
Oh, Into the
Spider-Verse.
Oh, you mentioned that last episode.
Did I mention? No.
You did?
Did I? No.
Yeah. Did you?
Did I?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But go ahead.
Anywho, that one was a top tier, right?
It's one of the top superhero films of the year so far.
Yeah, that one deserves to be up there. Anywho, back to The Flash. Horrible CGI. The story was decent. I think the best part of that movie was seeing Michael Keaton come back as Batman.
That's what I hear.
And that's pretty much it.
Well, you know, I think Warner Brothers knew the shit show that The Flash was going to be because of Ezra Miller's stupidity.
Yeah.
And
on the red carpet, he had to have a handler walking behind him at all times, like, "Hey, stay in, like, come on,
don't say anything stupid.
Don't act the fool." So yeah, the best part of The Flash wasn't even The Flash. It was the Batman that just...
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton's Batman.
Well, that's what I hear. And hopefully that does spin off into him getting his own Batman film.
You know,
it would be great.
It would be cool.
I'd love to see that. So yeah.
That's all I got.
So what do you say we shake into this episode?
Shake. Because it's, you know.
Yeah. Earthquakes.
Yeah.
Explosions.
That wasn't a cat. That was an earthquake.
Yeah. Okay. So... So for our first film, we're going to tackle climate change on an extreme global level with massive effects.
Tokyo was battered by the largest hailstorm on record.
In Nova Scotia, the ocean rose by 25 feet.
It's happening all around the world. The government has to start making preparations now.
That's the Los Angeles skyline!
Tornado just came and erased the Hollywood sign.
What exactly are you proposing, Professor?
Evacuate. Everyone.
Jack Hall, paleoclimatologist. I didn't even know that was a thing.
3-syllable word.
That was like 5. Paleoclimatologist making a daring trek from Washington, D.C. to New York to reach his son, who is trapped in the crosshairs of a sudden international storm which plunges the planet into the new ice age. The film we're talking about is The Day After Tomorrow, 2004, directed by Roland Emmerich, who also directed Stargate and 2012, another film we're covering. The film stars Dennis Quaid and Jake Gyllenhaal. So let's get our takes on this. Me personally, I thought it was just brainless fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's go in there, unscrew the top of your head, put your brain aside, and enjoy.
And just enjoy the ride that you're in for.
Yeah, you know, it's good popcorn fun. I mean, you know, surprisingly for being 2004, talk about CGI being shit. The CGI in this was noticeable, but not as bad.
Okay, here's one of the takes that I have on that shit, man. There was a scene where the news reporter is talking, and there's hurricanes or tornadoes in the background, and I'm thinking, okay, I noticed the tornado looking super like right, but I'm thinking in the back of my head, if I'm a fucking news reporter, I'm not gonna stay a mile away from that tornado rushing towards me. I'm gonna get the hell underground. I'm not gonna stay in the vicinity and say, this is my job and I'm gonna be paid the minimum for doing this. You know, no, there's no hazard pay that you're getting for doing that.
But
you're not a hero.
But it is hilarious because the fucker gets taken out by a billboard seconds after, which is hilarious. So it did answer your question. It's like, no, that ain't worth it.
Yeah, no.
Overall, I mean, I'm no scientist.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can barely add. Okay, 1 + 1.
I can add on my fingers.
Okay, so you're just a step above me.
Hell yeah.
But there was a lot of scientific bullshit in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, you can smell it.
Okay. The whole thing was caused because the amount of salt water to fresh water was thrown off because of global warming. Yeah. And I'm thinking in my head, how does that make any sense? Yeah. And it's like they were throwing around big words like it's candy, and I was like, okay, run with it.
It might be, but then again, there's so much bullshit in this movie.
Yeah,
that you kind of go,
okay,
yeah, fuck.
I don't know exactly what they're talking about, so I'll take their word.
Yeah, you got my $20. Might as well enjoy it and go for the ride. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely full of plot holes. Like, for example, there's certain scenes was like, your flash freeze if you come out into the cold. And you got these fuckers just walking around for like 30 minutes. Yeah. And then they freeze. I didn't get it. But there was a lot of that stuff. The CGI, I thought it was pretty impressive. Like I said earlier.
Some bits you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Except for the fucking wolves. Oh my God.
Yeah,
they were bad. I mean, they
were animated very dark, especially.
Yeah, because
you don't want to see them very bright.
Yeah, the director's like, that looks like shit. Let's darken
it.
Yeah.
Any scene with the wolves, just have it in a dark alleyway.
Yeah.
Or the dark corridor with the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, and went down the ship and they're trying to get the medical supplies. And stuff. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, that whole thing was telegraphed because there's a scene earlier when they're in the museum. Where the fuck? No, the zoo. Mm-hmm. It was the zoo with the
and then they're like, oh my God, the wolves are out.
Oh,
a foreshadow.
Oh,
very subtle foreshadow. I just winks, by the way.
Yeah, you're like
subtle,
right? But it was. I mean, overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean,
there was a couple cool takes on the movie that I will say, like, oh, that's kind of cool that they threw that in there, right? Where they're talking about how it was in the end of the movie where everything is resolved and all the immigrants going from America to Mexico to seek refuge. I'm like, that's kind of funny, man.
Yeah, Mexico's like, oh yeah,
close the fucking border.
You ain't coming. That was hilarious.
I cracked up a little bit. You know, I thought that was funny, being Mexican and all.
Right.
That's kind of funny.
A little bit of ironic humor.
And then the only way that they opened up the borders is when America said, okay, listen, Mexico, you open up your borders, make our people safe, we'll clear your debt with us.
Yeah, you owe us $1 trillion? Don't worry about it.
That's fine.
$1 trillion? What? Nah, forget about it. And Mexico's like,
okay Holmes.
Right.
You know? And then the speech at the end where it was kind of like, we have ignored our third world countries for far too long, and
now we're depending on the third world countries.
I was like, okay, that has a nice sentiment to it.
Yeah, a little political elements in there.
Yeah,
but
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, so the film was chock full of I mean, it is a special effects driven film, and as you know, where I stand on CGI in cases like this. Now you kind of need it.
Yeah, kind of hard to replicate this.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, overall, it had like 416 visual effects shots, which is quite a bit for a film like this. And it had like 9 special effects studios.
Damn,
9. Most notably, you had Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM.
ILM, nice.
Digital Domain, which is James Cameron's FX house, and they had over like 1,000 artists working on this film for over a freaking year.
Damn.
So you know what? Being so early on in the CGI revolution, all that effort does show.
Yeah.
And so it does make it work. But one thing that's interesting also with the film, once it did come out, or right before it came out, 20th Century Fox, this is funny. Maybe they were looking for endorsements, but they invited a shit ton of scientists to preview this film.
How did that go?
Well, they basically it was all to test the quote unquote science in this film. None of the scientists were impressed with what they saw. Although they did say that it was an enjoyable bit of nonsense. In other words, that was bullshit.
That was bullshit, but
it was
fun.
fun.
Fun bullshit.
Yeah, so in fact, in 2008, Yahoo Movies, they listed this film as one of the top 10 scientifically inaccurate movies ever. Yeah, what a nice honor.
That's a nice honor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, again, this movie is chock full of scientific bullshit. But I think it's a visual effects. It's an eye candy film.
Yeah.
And you got some decent performances here and there, and a pretty interesting storyline. But it did well in the box office. The studio, they went on ahead to promote this thing at the theaters with a doomsday clock that was counting backwards.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of eerie, but
yeah, it's weird. It's weird promotion, but it would work.
Yeah,
I'd be curious.
But overall, I mean, Roland Emmerich, which, by the way, remember the curator of the museum? His name was Roland. Remember
the classes dude?
Yeah, the guy that they ended up, he was actually killed.
Uh-huh.
His name is Roland, after Roland Emmerich, the director.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, a little narcissism there from the director, which he took a few million to direct this film. He took, however, a 10% stake in points on the back end of profits. Yeah.
How much did he make in total then?
Well,
a good penny, no?
Well, budget at the time, let's start there, was about $125 million, which in today is about a little over $200 million. At the box office, it made $445 million, which is about $877 million in today's dollars.
Damn.
So he made a nice little penny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and on top of that, DVD sales, it was huge. I remember that when this came out on DVD, it was a big deal. It made $110 million.
Damn.
In DVD sales, back when DVDs were actually a major part of...
Oh, like the sales of the movie, or the profits of the movie.
It was a huge revenue stream for studios. Oh, so it did really, really well. Now, what did critics think about it? That's what we want to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Roger Ebert, the Chicago Sun-Times, I fucked that one up.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, he described the film as profoundly silly, but nonetheless said the film was effective, and he praised the special effects for being really well done. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
That's not bad. 75%.
Out of Ebert, yes. I know this guy's history, and he is a hard ass when it comes to ratings. IMDb gave it a 6.4.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad.
That's pretty decent.
It's above average. Metacritic, which is a compilation of critic reviews, an average of about a 47. Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score gave it about a 45%.
Mm-hmm.
Critics gave it a 50%. So critics kind of liked it a little more, which is
weird.
Yeah, which is weird. And Letterboxd gave it a 2.9 out of 5. So
a little bit more harsh, yeah.
So yeah, so overall it's pretty much above average in general. So and then you cap that off with the box office. You talk about a pretty solid hit. So overall, I mean, to me, the film is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But
it's not what it's not.
But it's not what it's not, which is scientifically accurate. Far from. But I think, my point of view, people who, there's a lot of people who shit on this movie royally. But they need to relax, man, and realize that it's just a popcorn film. And the only objective of this film is not to stimulate, your mind, but to thrill you emotionally.
Yeah.
And I think it did that pretty well, no matter how ridiculous a fucking movie is.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous. But it does what it sets out to do, right?
Simple, easy, plain.
Yeah. There were no sequels or spin-offs.
I wouldn't imagine they would do well.
Yeah. I mean, how do you go from one cataclysmic event to another? I don't know.
Yeah. Mass flooding caused by all the ice.
Right. So bottom line, to me, this film, once you get to me personally, once you get past the political bullshit, some of the character melodrama, the film is actually a lot of fun. Some of the CGI looks like shit, hence the wolves, which is pretty noticeably bad, but overall, enjoyable. My rating is a 7.0 on the Richter scale.
Okay.
What about yours?
Well, I would say it's about a 6.5 on the Richter scale, to be fairly honest. Okay. It was good. It was fun, enjoyable. Okay. Just, a little bit distracting with all the scientific nonsense.
Yeah.
If you just give me a simple oh my God, we don't know why this is happening or something, I'll believe it a little bit more. But
Okay, I'll buy that 6.5.
yeah, it's a 6.5, but it's still good.
Okay, when I first saw it, I give it a 6.
Yeah.
But, upon rewatch. So, the next film has California rocking to the point of splitting into the Pacific Ocean.
Are you hurt? Are you hurt?
People need to know that the shaking is not over. We'll get hit again. And it's going to be a bigger monster.
In the aftermath of a massive earthquake in California, a rescue chopper pilot manages to make a dangerous journey with his ex-wife across the state in order to rescue their daughter. The film we're talking about is 2015's San Andreas, directed by Brad Payton, who also directed Journey to the Center of the Earth Part 2.
Oh, also with The Rock.
Also with The Rock. And the film stars The Rock and Alexandra Daddario, which I understand is
that's my girl, man. That's my girl.
That's your next wife.
Yeah.
And Paul Giamatti, the scientist, who I thought stole every scene of the film. Just a class act performance. So, what are your initial takes of the film?
So here's the thing. I liked it, but it is very over the top.
Yeah.
The scene where the wife is going from the restaurant and she's jumping off of the building to get onto the chopper with The Rock. I was like, okay.
Oh, come on. That's plausible.
Okay. I think I would just see the building collapse and just be like, fuck it. This is where I make it, man. This is the end.
Yeah.
But also very enjoyable because it did kind of give me like what to do when you're kind of stuck. It not to say it was the most informative film out there, but it did teach landlines when there's no cell reception because those get more
they're the first ones that get cut. Yeah.
No, they're the last ones cut.
You're right.
Yeah, and then so not only that, but also like listening into like firefighter radio, like seeing what the most recent information is.
Okay.
Like it's just more educative shit like that.
Right.
I'm just like, okay, fun, nice, and I'm also learning.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, which, by the way, one of my favorite sequences in the film, which I thought was totally stupid, but funny and ironic, was when the girl is in the opening sequence, when she's driving down that highway in the hills.
Oh my God. I'm expecting like, okay, she's going to come out to crash right now.
Right. The cell
grabbing
phone.
The cell phone and backpack or whatever.
The backpack or whatever. Oh, shoot, her bottled water.
There you go.
And you think she's going to fucking crash off this cliff.
Yeah.
No, she survives all of that until
the fucking boulder hits.
Yeah, and then
the rock or the mudslide or whatever.
The avalanche or whatever.
Yeah, avalanche. Rock slide.
Rock slide.
That avalanche is ice.
Ice and snow.
Yeah. California does not get much snow.
No. Well,
some parts.
But I thought that was hilarious. But one thing that did strike me in this film after I watched all these films is this typical trope, this cliche of the couple that's separated, or they're going to get divorced, or they are divorced, they have a kid. It's like, I've seen this story already.
Yeah.
They always have to add that in. And that's such a typical trope or cliche in these films. And
every single one of these movies had that.
Okay.
All of them had that.
Right.
All three of them were dealing with divorced parents as well.
Yeah, and then they get back together. Of course, they have to get rid of the new boyfriend in the process.
Yeah.
He gets to get, they have to engulf him in flames, or he falls heroically or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they can get back together. What a nice ending. I thought that shit was hilarious. And of course, you have a shit ton of plot holes and inaccuracies. Like, for example, in the opening sequence, when they go, that dumb chick who goes crashing off the cliff.
To be fair, she was driving recklessly, but the accident itself wasn't technically her fault.
Well, it's called, karma or whatever.
That's a good point.
She was doomed because of her intense stupidity. God is like,
smite you.
Yeah, I'm going to smite you with a fucking boulder. You did those stupid things before. But, when they go rescue her, and the helicopter is hovering over, and, they're, between the cliffs and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, we're running out of fuel.
Why?
It's a rescue chopper. They're supposed to fucking have enough fuel to do these things, right? But it runs out of fuel. What? The gas attendant at the rescue fire depot was off that day, or what?
Yeah.
Okay, but they had enough fuel to go from LA to San Francisco. Oh, okay, of course. Now, granted, they didn't make it all the way because they ended up in Bakersfield because it overheated or something, and they had to crash land. But apparently, they had enough fuel to go from LA to San Francisco. But they couldn't save this poor fucking girl, or in danger of not being able to save her because they didn't have enough fuel. Yeah. Okay, that kind of bugged me. I thought that was funny, but again, although I heard that some of the science was pretty on par, I didn't do enough research on it. You know,
I mean, the San Andreas fault will go off at any point, and it'll be huge. Man.
Yeah,
it is the earthquake.
The earthquake. What funny enough about that is that the movie opened May 29th, 2015. At 10:23. Now imagine you're in the theater watching San Andreas, which is big fucking earthquake, which is destroying the city, the state of California, right?
Yeah.
You're in there munching on your popcorn, eating your jujubes, when at 10:23 p.m. a magnitude 3.8 earthquake was reported near Indio, California.
Oh, the irony.
People think, oh, this is 4D.
Well, the 3 point anything, you don't really feel. It would be like...
Yeah, but it's enough to catch your attention.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and especially in a movie like that, it could be a 2-pointer. You go, oh, I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm moving.
It's a foreshadowing.
I'm going to Wisconsin. But, but yeah, the film also had a shit ton of special effects. I mean, it had like 1,300 special effects shots in this film.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it had a ton. But it paid off. I mean, overall, it was the highest grossing film of 2015 for Warner Brothers, bringing in, the budget at the time was about 110 million, which is about 142 now in today's dollars. Box office was $474 million back then in 2015, which is still pretty damn good, which equates to roughly about 610 million in today's dollars. So it did really, really well.
Okay. Nice little pocket change.
Yeah. So generally, again, it did well. Critic reviews were mixed to favorable. They were overall. IMDb gave it a 6.1.
Oh.
Above average, which is not too bad. Metacritic took a shit on it at 43.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes. Critics, again, well, they're kind of 50-50. It's like 48% approval from critics. 52% from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fair.
And Letterboxd gave it about a 2.5 out of 5. So overall, it's right down the middle as an average kind of film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I mean, sounds about fair.
Yeah.
There was, however, a sequel that had been in the works for a while. But, and this, I guess it still comes out of, yeah.
You just see them just going to a bunch of rescue camps. Just, do you need help? Do you need water?
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
It's a one-time deal.
Yeah.
And, so, but
San Andreas Aftershock.
Oh!
I just did something right there.
You did something. So my overall thoughts on the film. The film, though tropey and cliched, it does have heart. The Rock gives a very likable performance. He's always very charismatic in whatever he does. It's a great thrill ride, great chilling effects, especially if you live in LA and California in general. And it deserves a place here in the pantheon of really good disaster films. My rating on this is about an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
As far as disaster films go.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'd probably say like a 6, to be fairly honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
About a 6.
About a 6.
Wow. A 6.
2 of those points are going to my wife. 2 of those points are going to Alexander Daddario.
Okay. All right. Cool.
The other is, it's holding on a 6 because it is relatively informative, but it's also, it doesn't have enough drive to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're pretty tough on these things.
Yeah.
All right. So on the Richter scale, you give it a 6. I gave it an 8. All right. And for our final film, well, it's all over, at least according to the Mayans.
This mass suicide adhered to the Mayan calendar, which predicts the end of time to occur on the 21st of December of this year.
What are the odds?
A frustrated writer struggles to keep his family alive when a series of global catastrophes threatens to annihilate mankind. This one is 2012 from the year
2012.
Directed by Roland Emmerich, who also did the Day After Tomorrow.
Hey.
And the film stars John Cusack and Woody Harrelson.
He stole the show, man. Yes,
Yeah.
Charlie, hell yeah.
Yeah. However, whatever shit there's in this film, he's not part of it. He was fantastic.
He was great.
Yeah, he
The
was.
loony bin who's just calling it all out before it even happens.
Oh, it was hilarious. Yeah. I mean, what were your favorite aspects of in general?
Okay, it's completely illogical, very implausible, but the whole trip from LA, where was it, to Yellowstone, to some airport somewhere in between, to China, all while you're avoiding the earthquake in LA, the explosion at Yellowstone,
Volcanoes, yes.
the aftermath dealing with the explosion at the earthquake, then flying to China, and then dealing with that tsunami coming in. You're dealing with at least 4 of the catastrophes in that movie.
It's plausible.
Not to mention, the doctor or the plastic surgeon who's the pilot was dealing with the single engine plane. Then
He was
jumped
trained originally in
in a single engine. Then you're jumping to a 2 engine. Then you're jumping to a full-blown, like, damn near Boeing 747.
I think it was closer to like a C-130 or something like that.
I don't
This
know,
thing's
man,
huge.
but it was You're telling me that's plausible.
Yeah.
It's very stretched.
Yeah, you're sitting there going, hey, this is fun. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
But it's fun. Okay?
It's fun. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying, you know.
Yeah, it has a ton of stuff in there that you got. I mean, what about John Cusack? Which I like Cusack.
I liked him.
He's always very...
He always did this, like, pause, dramatic.
Yeah,
Pause,
dramatic.
you know. And I thought it was pretty funny.
But he's not getting the award for Dad of the Year, however. I mean,
No.
look, okay, for example, remember when they find that lake
Mm-hmm.
that's all,
That's closed up.
it's closed up with yellow tape.
Yeah.
There's steam or like fumes coming out of this thing. There's dead fucking animals lying all over this thing. And he tells the kids, hey,
Let's go investigate.
and they walk on this dried up lake that looks like it's toxic, and he takes his little kids over. Yeah. Or the scene where he goes back to find, what's his name?
Charlie with the map.
Yeah, with the map.
And he takes his daughter.
And he takes his daughter. Not only does he take her on this dangerous trip from the runway to this hill,
Mm-hmm.
when he gets there, he sees Charlie on top of this hill, ready to die, broadcasting his conspiracy show.
Yeah.
He tells his daughter, wait here.
Great.
Wow. Yeah, Dad of the Year, not going to happen.
Because you're not thinking explosion at that point. My first thought would be, oh, there's some sort of gas that's, is leaking or whatever the hell.
Piggyback your fucking kid on your back. Take your kid with you.
Yeah.
Hey, wait here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so no
This
wonder.
isn't Scooby-Doo. We're not splitting up.
Right. You're like, no wonder his wife left his ass.
Yeah.
But it was.
Not to mention, he forgot about the mosquito repellent.
And he forgets the mosquito
That's the
repellent.
biggest thing of all, man. He forgot the mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
Shame on him.
Yeah, bad dad. But overall, I mean, the visual effects, the effects in this, they still hold up surprisingly.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
there was a good jump between Day After Tomorrow to 2012.
There definitely was. I mean, I saw this in the movie theater,
Mm.
and it was pretty damn impressive.
It was.
It was.
Still is.
And it still is. I think you still show this in the theater and have audiences go, "Wow, that's wow." Although the action is a bit over the top.
Yeah.
I
to
mean,
say
when
the
he
least.
when he jumps the bus,
with the camper.
the camper over this crevice that was created by the earth.
Yeah.
It was like what 15, 20 feet long,
Wide.
wide.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah,
That camper was just straight down.
I mean,
Highway to hell.
yeah, suspension of disbelief. No, fuck that. You have to kill your suspension in its entirety of
Yeah.
disbelief. But nonetheless, it was fun overall. When during the production of this film, Roland Emmerich, when of course was promoting the film, he tried to keep it on the wraps. It was called Farewell to Atlantis.
Oh, after the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Farewell Atlantis, which is the book written by,
The author dude, the dad.
played by John Cusack.
Ese. Uh-huh.
So they titled the film, and but as much as I liked John Cusack in this, and I still like him, I think he still pumps out really good performances in film. First considered for the role that he played was Gerard Butler.
Oh.
I mean, why not? I think it would have worked. I mean, he did.
Gerard Butler has played like 7 different catastrophe movies.
Right, he has. So throw this on his resume.
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
I think it would have worked.
Geostorm, check. What's the other one?
Geostorm and Greenland.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fuck it, why not? Give him 2012 too.
Why not? I mean, I think he would have did better. In fact, I would have liked him better in The Day After Tomorrow. Dennis Quaid was okay, and that was one thing that kind of brought my rating down a bit with The Day After Tomorrow was Quaid's performance. He's like,
yeah, a little lackluster.
Yeah. So, but the film did well. I mean, box office wise, we have a budget of like about $200 million budget.
That's hefty.
That's hefty, even by today's standards, which comes out to about $265 million today. However, the box office at the time, off a $200 million budget, came in at $770 million worldwide.
Yeah, that's nice.
Which is about $1 billion with a capital B today. So
it made its good comeback.
Well, yeah. I think it was all the 2012 talk at the time.
Yeah, and everybody was thinking, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world!" And then, what do you imagine? We have a movie about it. Go see it in the theaters.
Exactly.
Today,
impending doom. Why not? So, and it did as far as reviews and critics and stuff. I mean, it did about Roger Ebert. He praised this film. He gave it a 3.5 stars out of 4.
Damn.
Yeah. Basically saying that it delivers what it promises.
Catastrophe movie.
Yeah. It is what it is. Audience polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of about B+. Yeah. And IMDb 5.8, Metacritic 49, Rotten Tomatoes critic score about 39%.
Oof.
47 on the audience score, and about average on Letterboxd at about 2.4 out of 5. So I think Roger Ebert was the biggest fan of the film. And overall, I mean, I thought it was a lot of fun. Visuals were really amazing. So overall, I thought it was a silly, implausible film full of bullshit that you just don't buy, but full of action sequence that thrill, and just keep you at the edge of your seat. The film delivers, like Roger Ebert says, it delivers the goods. That's what you're there for. 2.5 hours, a little too long for a movie.
Yeah.
Especially that kind. It's enough rocking and rolling you can take.
We can cut off the whole trip to, what would it be, Yellowstone?
Yeah, or they could have cut some of that down. Characters, I think they were a little bit more engaging, which lends to the heartfelt moments in the film that I think effectively hit the mark. My overall rating of the film, on the Richter scale, is 8 out of 10.
Not bad. Okay.
For an action film.
For an action, that's not
for
bad.
one of these disaster films on the Richter scale, 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Before I give out my score, I want to say that the most believable part of this movie was the fact that the world said, fuck the common people, save the rich, and we're building this giant boat with only the highest of the high.
The smartest, most affluent people in the world.
Oh, yeah. The deepest pockets, basically.
Yeah, so we'd be fucked.
Yeah. Oh, no. We're dead. We're sunken into the ocean, my brother.
Yeah. Embrace the inevitability.
Yeah. Common folk like you and I are not making it out.
Yeah. We just get up on the roof and watch the show.
Yeah, pretty much. Watch them go down in a blaze of glory.
Nice.
So I would rate this a 7 out of 10 on the Richter.
All right.
So,
See, I guess maybe I'm more of a sucker for these things, I guess. All right. So on the Richter scale, 7 out of 10 from you.
7 out of 10.
8 out of 10 from me. So aside from that, there are a lot of other great disaster films. So we're going to give out some recommendations along this line. If you enjoy these kind of films, there's also a film called Greenland, which we mentioned earlier with Gerard Butler. Came out in 2020. Pretty effective. I think it was pretty damn good. Didn't do well. I think that came out during the pandemic, so it really...
Yeah, not a whole lot of movies did very well.
Yeah, Geostorm came out in 2017, also with Gerard Butler. Didn't do well. I don't know what the excuse for that one was.
Yeah.
And then in 2022, we had Moonfall with Halle Berry. That was...
Oh, yeah.
And that was also directed by Roland Emmerich, who did 2012. And The Day After Tomorrow.
Look at him just doing disaster movies.
He loves to just blow shit up. Now, that one did really, it did decent business, but Moonfall, for if you haven't seen it, it's ridiculous.
It is.
It is. But is it fun? Yeah. Again, it's a brainless kind of fun. But, you look at the history of the disaster film. It goes way back, as far back as the 70s, where you had this boom of disaster films. You started like in 1970 was the beginning of this thing, where you had a film called Airport, which movie called Airplane made fun of later on. The Poseidon Adventure came out in 1972, which was remade with Kurt Russell a few years ago, which kind of sucked. The Towering Inferno, also in 1972. Earthquake, Airport 75. We were just obsessed with disaster and blowing shit up and just destroying shit. Back I mean,
it's fun.
Yeah. But Origins overall, I mean, they're as old as the film medium itself. I mean, you go back as far as 1901. There was a film called Fire, which was about
fire.
Oh, place. Look at that. Yeah, house catches fire. Firemen get there, turn off the flames, and save people. Kind of like a precursor to the Towering Inferno. And then you have 1916. Got a film called End of the World. Never seen it. Never heard of it. Noah's Ark in 28. But the most impactful one was The Last Days of Pompeii, which came out in 1935, which is about the explosion of the volcano Mount Vesuvius. Was about 79 AD.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. No, it says it right here on the screen.
I can't see the screen.
Oh, I can. So I got upper hand. So, you know, disaster, again, they go way back, but the peak era was the 1970s, with all these great films, and they all had a star-studded cast. I mean, they had, for back then, all the major stars from television and movies, and they all follow the same tropes where you have, you know, telling the story of this couple that's having problems. They got to go to marriage counseling, and then you got this guy, you know, this guy who's dealing with an illness. He's going to fucking die in a month or whatever. And all these different couple that's been married 100 years and they're still in love. And so you got all these characters being introduced in the first and part of the second act of the film so that you get closer, which I thought was an effective device.
Yeah.
Because when they die, you go, oh, fuck.
I kind of like them.
Yeah.
And then you go, why did the asshole live?
Yeah. Well, usually the asshole would really get messed up. He'd get it really good. He'd get like a, you know, chandelier dropped on him or a piano or, you know, so they would get their comeuppance. But again, there was tons of this. I mean, you know, there was this one producer named Irwin Allen who was, I guess, an earlier version of Roland Emmerich, making these big disaster, cataclysmic type of films. He was producer and or the director of films like The Poseidon Adventure, When Time Ran Out, The Swarm, and he was actually given a nickname. He was called the Master of Disaster.
Oh, okay. That's a catchy little something.
Yeah. But, you know, into the 80s, as we know, the 80s, which is a plethora of genres and different types of films, everything from the high concept to the low budget. So the disaster film kind of took a back seat. And it wasn't until the 90s that there was a revival of the disaster film. You got films like Twister, which, by the way, there is a sequel coming up. Yeah. I mean, Bill Paxton is not going to be in it.
Oh.
So.
Game over, man.
Yeah. No Paxton.
I love Bill Paxton.
Yeah. So, but apparently it's their kids.
Okay.
They're storm chasers. But you have Twister, Independence Day, Daylight with Stallone. Remember that?
No.
Oh, you have not seen this? This is good, where it's the Lincoln Tunnel in New York, and there's an explosion in the middle, and all these people are trapped under, and you know, the tunnel goes
underneath water, yeah.
Underneath water, and water starts to seep in, and Stallone has to rescue people. Really good. I highly recommend that. I mean, you have Volcano, Deep Impact, Armageddon, and of course, you have the creme de la creme of disaster films of the 90s with Titanic.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a revival. What?
Sorry, I'm just thinking back at all the memes.
The Titanic memes.
Titanic memes.
Yeah, where she could have saved Jack. Yeah, she killed Jack. I'm going to say it again and again and again.
They could have lived.
Yeah, he could have lived. So, yeah, I mean, you know, recently the disaster film has kind of taken a bit of a lull in there, but they're still out there. I don't know what it is. You know, these films, they terrify us, you know, they freak us out. I mean, they're not like a typical horror movie or thriller movie, which is some level of plausibility. Some of these things deal with stuff that will happen eventually. Yeah. And what
stuff that has happened.
Or has happened. And it's very fucking real. There's no villain. You're at the mercy of nature. So why do people pay to see these type of films? So it's a mystery, but maybe it's a thrill of being alive. Go, okay, I'm exposed to it. I faced my fear. Now I can live.
Yeah.
Until
it happens to me.
Until it happens, and you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have watched those movies. But they terrify us, they freak us out. But again, we continue in droves to see these films, not just for the mayhem and destruction. But I think what really, one of the things that makes these things so attractive to people and makes us come back time and time again is a general underlying theme throughout all these films. And that is the inspiration of survival through hope, love, and the human spirit to come together. Not as many races, but it's one race, and that's the human race. Mm-hmm. And I think that universal theme at the end of these films, I guess it gives us hope. And I think that maybe
it's a nice little message.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty much what drives these films. And as bad as they are, I will keep paying to see these dumbass films.
Absolutely.
Because they're fun. All right. So that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. So next week, join us for an all-new episode where we explore Greek gods, fantasy, and mythology. And we'll be talking about these next 3 films. The first one we're going to be talking about is Jason and the Argonauts from 1963, Clash of the Titans from 1981, and Immortals from 2011.
I'm excited. I love Greek mythology.
Yeah, it's going to be good. 2 out of 3 I'm looking forward to, but we'll get to that when we get to the episode.
Oh, hush you.
Yeah.
All of them are 10 out of 10.
Okay, I think we're going to see an inversion of ratings
on
the next episode. So, again, this is our second season, and we're happy to be back, and hope you listen in. Hope you've enjoyed this new episode. So please support the pod by giving us a 5-star rating and leave us a good review. Another way you can support us is simply to subscribe to us on Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Audible, Boomplay, or wherever you get your podcast fix. Also, don't forget to check out our Facebook group page on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. We have all our episodes on YouTube. You can also listen to us there. Mm-hmm. And, we may even post some announcements on there, what's coming up. All these links, they're in our show notes. So be sure to check them out. And again, support the pod. Refer us to a friend, an enemy.
Your neighbor who survived San Andreas and then went on to tell a great story about it.
And they can, there you go. Yeah. Absolutely. And you can also contact us directly by email to thefilmjoepod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedbacks, complaints, whatever you have to throw at us. So before we leave, anything you'd like to say before we close this out?
Welcome back to season 2, baby. Woo!
Yeah, season 2. All right, so let's get this party started. I am Joe.
I am Carlos.
And this is the Filmjoe Podcast
where film talk happens.